we as a district adopted using Canvas as our learning management system. I had used Google Classroom before, and I've noticed that a lot of what I do in Canvas can also be translated over into Google. So I'm going to try to remain as platform independent as possible, but my focus has been on Canvas for the past year. Inside of Canvas, one of the things that you're able to do is you're able to set up modules. So basically units that you want students to follow. So if we're talking about a periodic table, it can have an entire module labeled periodic table. You can create an interactive agenda to where you can be like, in person, this is what we're doing, and at home, this is what you should be doing. One of the things that I started realizing is that we need clear, immediate, and meaningful feedback. Students should not have to wait on me to grade their assignments to figure out if what they're doing is incorrect. Especially if I'm only seeing them 2 days a week. If they were doing a mistake on Monday, they turn in their assignment in person on Wednesday, they will not get their feedback until the following Monday. So they would have an entire week where they could be thinking that they're doing it correctly, and they're really not. One of the things that I started to do was to actually handwrite my answer keys, scan them in a PDF format, and then post them on Canvas. I had done that in Google Classroom, but with Canvas, I can go ahead and actually post the assignment, and then right underneath it, I can post the answer key. It's there for a learning tool, not to cheat, not to fool me into believing that they know what's going on. Also, platforms like Google Classroom or Canvas, the online platforms, I'm able to post YouTube videos. I had been asked, why don't I record my own videos? Well, if a student was struggling in class to understand how I was explaining it, me making a video of how I explained it may not be good for them. They may need to hear it from a different perspective. So things like Khan Academy, okay, those are very content rich, not as entertaining. Crash Course has a lot of good science videos that are more entertaining. And then there are other people who have online textbooks that I've been using. So I would post 3 or 4 different videos from different entertainment and content levels. We don't want to lose their attention too fast. But I'm hoping that by posting those videos, using that flipped classroom, when they're not there with me, I'm able to defer them to an online lecturer. I also use things that are called PhET simulations. And they've designed these online science simulations. When I found out that I was only seeing my kids 2 days a week, I knew I had to maximize that time. During this hybrid schedule, I resorted to a lot of online labs and simulations. It gives them a visual representation of what's happening. Also, while they're at home, I could use Canvas to go ahead and do online quizzes. I can do a lot of things to try to minimize cheating. I keep telling them, I said, this is much more of a test style prep for you. Can you answer these questions in 15 minutes or less? But for the most part, the whole idea of that is for them to give themselves feedback, but then also I get the data that they can then figure out when I see them in person, all right, a lot of people missed question number 3. We need to go over that real quick. So when they're not with me directly, I have been doing a lot more of the enrichment and the assessment pieces because there's something about that face-to-face. I didn't want them to be sitting in my classroom and just staring at a computer screen. Because if they were doing that, they might as well just be doing that at home. It might as well be fully virtual. I'm not interacting with them directly. There was no point in them doing the assignment at school.